So what'd you like? What'd you not like? What do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? Do you know what I mean when I say that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, let me just explain it to you so that everybody understands that. It's not just me blurting out words, okay? One thing that since I founded this church, I made a promise that we would never be a stagnant church. And what I mean by that is there are some churches out there that are so, y'all are ruining my sound. Go ahead. Go ahead and close it up. Go ahead and close it up. There you go. There are some churches out there that are so caught up in their dogma and in their rules and in their Vatican II councils that they do the same thing over and over and over. People regurgitate the same prayers over and over and over and stand and kneel and do the same thing over and over and over. I try and make our service different every week. There are some things that are the same. The Our Father is the same and the Creed is the same. Those are the same. They're going to be. I mean, that's what they are. It's what we believe, and it's the prayer that Jesus Christ gave us to pray to God. Other than that, I try and make it a little different every week. And I want us to remember that we don't have to be stagnant. This is y'all's church. This is your church. So what do you like? What do you not like means what do you like? What do you not like? Is there something in the service you liked a whole lot? Is there something you didn't like? What do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? Is there something you really want to keep that you want to just really bring up? Or is there something you really just are really not starting to really just grate on your nerves and you want to get rid of? And we'll talk about that. We'll have a little debate about it. We'll do whatever. And we'll work on it. And we'll try and change with what you want. Because this is your church. And the way we worship is how you worship. And that's the way I want it to be. I don't want it to be some council telling you have to worship this way, because that's not the way it works. We're all on our own path. Okay, we can all worship our own way, but when we come together, we kind of have to compromise and work together and do something that we all feel comfortable with. And that's what I mean when I say that. So when I say that, that's what I'm saying. I'm just giving you the opportunity to come at me and say, look, hey, something I really liked today or something I didn't like today. Or we can just go directly into talking about the sermon or about your life or about your path or about anything you want to talk about. That's what this time is for. Okay? So, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? Come on with it. I'm waiting.
Piece of advice, exactly what you paid for it.
Nothing.
Your screen up here
Yeah.
is to support whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Here. If you see that it's not working, it's flickering, it's not on the right page, bring it down.
Yeah.
Fiddle around with it over there all you want. But anything that's going to distract and draw attention away from, that is a distraction.
The biggest problem we have with that, just in quick defense of him for that, the music is tied into our PowerPoint. So it was difficult, it just was not loading, and then to go and try and get it from the actual file, which I showed him where to get those, that's how we played most of our music today, it wasn't even loading very well.
So that window that he was, while you're talking,
that should not have been there.
He
right.
could have
dragged it over. Yeah, were you having trouble dragging it over? What was the deal?
The mouse kept going in and out.
The mouse was going in and out as well. I don't know what is going on with that computer. We may have to wipe it all the way down and start over with it.
Is that a new computer over there or something?
Huh?
Is that a new one over there?
There's another one over there. It's a little older model, and I just now got it up. We had a password issue on it, and by the grace of God, I don't know how, I figured that out. Don't ask me. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was by the grace of God.
A joke.
No, I mean, seriously. It was a password that I didn't know, and that nobody else knew, just in time to use it for our sound today, because the $2,500 Alienware, somebody apparently spilled some sort of liquid on the power supply and didn't tell me, and it will no longer, either it will no longer start up the Alienware, or the Alienware shorted out because of that. I'm not sure which yet. So that's what's going on with that. We're having some major computer problems, computer issues here, guys, and I apologize. I know it's a distraction. I do. And I know the waiting and all of that, it's not fun. It's embarrassing to me. I work very, very hard. We all work very, very hard to do the PowerPoints and the songs and everything and make sure everything comes out just right. And when it doesn't, it's frustrating as all heck. I mean, it really is. It really gets my goat that we work that many hours on those kinds of things, and it comes out and we don't really even get to use it. So I apologize for that. Trust me, I'm just as disappointed as you are, and I'm doing everything I can to try and rectify it. I'm going to work on that computer, and hopefully we'll get it done. If not, we're going to have to do something else. So, okay. So let's go back to where we were, though, today, talking about Jesus Christ teaching people to be, as it says in some of the other gospel writers, right, fishers of men. Here it said you learn how to fish people. He writes it a little differently in his gospel, but that's okay. Letting go. Letting go and letting God. Letting go of the controls. Giving the remote control to God.
I have the sermon, all I could think of was Carrie Underwood, just take the wheel.
Amen. That's exactly the song. I mean, that's what it's about. Look, let go and let God. How many times have we said that?
Okay,
I mean, come on.
as ridiculous as it sounds,
It's the
Mardell
truth.
bumper sticker.
It's the truth.
There's truth to it.
But how do you do that?
That is faith. That is.
How do you let go of your life and let God take over? How do you do it? Tell me how you do. I mean, literally, how do you do it?
The more anyone tries to ever control or keep a grip on something, the tighter that grip, the less control you actually have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're not saying just throw up your hands and,
No.
and trust God's going to do it, and you just sit there and do nothing.
You still have to make decisions. You still have to get out there and do it.
God did give us a brain.
Absolutely.
And, some more than others. But you gotta, once you come to the understanding that there's a greater force at work in this universe,
Oh, yeah.
and you're never going to change that force.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God there's a larger force in this universe.
Right.
You know?
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you.
And make your decisions and accordingly.
We talk about it all the time. I talk about listening to God. And this falls under the same guideline here. This is the same kind of thing I'm talking about. Baylor's trying to explain to you, it's not about just, okay, God, take over. It's not what it's about. You're still having to make decisions in your life. You still have to get up and go to work. You still have to get up and do this. You have to act how act how you're going to act. Do what you're going to do. Treat people the way you're going to treat them. Give back what you're going to give back, and take what you're going to take. But don't just do it on your own self-will. Okay? Listen to God. That's how you're giving that remote control to Him. It's kind of like, if you want to think of it this way, it's almost like giving it to a drill sergeant. The drill sergeant runs his platoon, right? With cadence and with orders and with this is the way it's going to be. And the platoon answers and follows the direction. They do what he says. That's kind of what we're talking about here. If you want to look at God as a drill sergeant, I don't like to look at him that way because I think he's more compassionate than that. But just for sake of understanding where I'm going here, he's telling you what to do. He's telling you how to live. He's telling you what he wants. And if you just open your ears and open your mind and open your soul and open all of that up and listen, immerse yourself in his word and his voice, it's that simple.
And part of listening is simply recognizing.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
You keep doing what you want to do thinking it's the right thing to do, but if you keep on running into hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, or you feel like you're getting slapped back somehow, sometimes you need to recognize there's a better path, there's an easier path, and sometimes that path most often that path is not going to be the one we want. Or think we want.
Logically, it doesn't work, right? And I think that's true most of the time, that there is another path that we're missing. We're just not looking for it. Sometimes I think those stumbling blocks, those hurdles we have to make, are there for a reason. They're there to teach us something, and I think it's important to recognize that maybe we're not on the wrong path at that time too, and we have to go through this because we have to learn something.
It was like the other night. So usually I don't sweat the small things. I'm not stingy, no nothing, right? But things started to take place and did take place in a certain manner that, I kind of started becoming the complete opposite. Because it's like, if something got taken or something went missing, whoever or however it did, they needed it more than you did.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, do we cry over spilled milk? mean, I don't think so. I mean, you can, but it's just, what's the point? You know, it comes with territory, a certain environment, wherever. So, long story short, you know, I started noticing, like, I kept having these, instead of sharing my cigarettes or whatever, I was like, no, you got 50 cents, you got 50 cents, whatever, you know, and then it's like, now I'm starting to lose, you know, I'm starting to lose those. You know, people are getting me even worse than they had been, you know, and, you know, it's just everything started, like, stuff just started going up missing from mine and things like that. And it's like thinking, you know what, it's a sign. God's trying to tell me to chill out. And it, like, you know, because it's going to come back later. Not, this is not a slap in the face, it's just telling me, like, because it's like, people usually don't get bad things done to them, like karma like that, if they don't dish it out. And I don't dish it out at all, by no means. So that was just, you know, I took it in its sense of it. That's why I came out the other day and was like, hey, you know, here's a cigarette, da da da, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, that was not by any animosity, no, nothing like, no, right here, you can have one, it's no big deal. They're gone, they're here when they're gone. I mean, they're here when they're here and they're gone, whatever. I'll get more. Something will fall in place.
Here's the thing to remember that I'm going to just suggest to you. Once again, we're all on our own path. We all are on a separate path. We're not following the same. We're not going the same way. Some of us, our paths cross quite a bit. Some of us don't. And in order to know your path, in order to know what God is trying to show you with the stumbling blocks or with the accolades or with the good and the bad and whatever it is, you need to be able to listen. You need to be able to communicate with God. You know, prayer is not a monologue. Prayer is a conversation between you and God. So say what you have to say, ask what you have to ask, shut up, and listen. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It may not be here that you hear it. It may be here, it may be here, it may be just something you see. It could be just a feeling you get. I mean, God wants to speak to you. You just have to learn how to listen. You have to learn to communicate with Him. It's like learning to speak as a child. It's a different, almost like a different language, but it's not. You just have to feel it. You've got to be able to let everything. It's almost a meditation what you're doing. Okay, when you pray, let everything go. Let all of that crap that's happened to you all day, all that junk that's bogging you down, let it slide off of you. Breathe, and just let the goodness in. Just know that God is there with you. Feel His presence. And then listen. Don't think about it. Don't talk anymore. Shut up and listen. When you're able to do that, you're able to get that direction from God about where you're supposed to be going and what you're supposed to be doing. What more could you ask for? God Himself is telling you your path. How more simple can it be? Practice. You have to practice this. This is not something that you get overnight. This is not something that just happens. And it's not going to be God looking at you going, I command thee, you shall do this and do that, and that. No, it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. If it does, either you've done something really, really bad, or God just really, trying to make a point with you and say, look, okay, I've tried everything else.
That would be through your conscience.
That's where it is. It's that.
It would be through your conscience, right. And it would be through nature.
And, talk about that little inner voice. That little inner voice most of the time, that's probably God talking to you. So it's actually probably a pretty big inner voice. Okay? Does everybody get that? I understand that. We've talked about this for years with some of you guys. I mean, you all have been here since the beginning.
Well,
Go ahead. No? And it's still, I think today, it's still very difficult for some of you to conceive what I'm trying to say. That you get caught up on my words. Shut up. Oh, that's funny. It's meant to make you think about what I'm saying. I want you to hear the harshness in my voice. Shut up. Seriously. Shut up. Shut it off. Shut it off. Don't think. Just let either this, if it's in silence, it works in silence for you, do it in silence. Some people it works, they have to have noise. They have to have the wind going in their ears. They have to have nature. Some people have to get in the closet and do it. Some people go in the shower and do it. Whatever works for you. Trial and error. Make it work. Because He's talking. He's talking to all of us. You just have to open your ears, your proverbial ears, and hear Him. And like I say, can you imagine your life with God saying, okay, today, this is going to happen. You're going to do this, and this is why I did this yesterday. And so you understand, just stay on this right path. This is what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing the right way. Keep on going. He's not going to tell you everything. No, it's not that simple. But he will point you in the right direction. And if you just follow, look, if it's logical, if it seems to make sense, if it's working, then it's probably right. We talked about before, God gave us something called guilt for a reason. And that little feeling we get when we're not going the right way, and you kind of get that hair kind of sticks. Well, there you go. There's that feeling. That's it. Okay. Gavin, you need to step up for a minute? Go right ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember like 4 weeks ago I was complaining about how I had been school ripped thrown out from underneath me.
Yes.
And I was like, well, where do I go from here? Blah, 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 blah.
And tell us what's happened.
I don't know. It was crazy, but apparently I had left my backpack up at the school, and before Christmas break, and they just had found it, and I went and got it. I had several opportunities to get it, and I just never really did until just like last week. And I talked to two people. One was she was with financial aid, but she had some pull in the academic department, and the other one was one of my instructors. I've had a couple of times, but he's also like head of academics for the weekend staff in the program. So they all didn't really understand where I went. They thought I was in LOAs, and I kind of explained to one guy this situation, like how I kind of got railroaded a little bit. And apparently I found out immediately after he got out of that conversation, he picked his phone up and called Manuel, which is like the second highest guy in the school, and told him the situation. And then the women in the academic department they spoke on my behalf without me calling about anything, or trying to get a meeting set up to see if there could be a chance. And on top of all that, they had told me if I'd come back that I would not have financial aid. I'd have to pay out of my pocket.
It's a lot of money.
Blah 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 blah. And it's just like a reentry. I'm still on the same plan and everything. It's just got restarted.
So congratulations to you for that. That's fantastic news.
So,
and again, these people stood up for you because they saw something in you. And what we do affects everybody around us. And I know you don't believe this, but we touch people in our lives every day, and you don't even realize most of the people, you don't realize how you've touched them and how you've affected them. Which is why I think it's so important that when you're out and about, that you make eye contact. You don't put your head down. You smile. You say, how you doing? What's up? Hey, what's up? Because when you walk by that person and you look in their eyes, and maybe look back and they hear you acknowledge them, you may have just saved that person's life. Because they may have just gotten fired from their job, and they're walking to that bridge you just walked off of to jump off of it. You don't know. So why not be that way with everybody? Try and acknowledge people, because that's one of the biggest things we have in this world is if people feel like they're invisible. And that really sucks to feel that way. So even a stranger saying, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You're alive, I believe. I know you're worth me talking to." Can change the world, believe it or not. It just takes one person, and that's Jesus Christ working through us. That's how He works through us, by that kindness and that act. That is an act that is giving of yourself. You don't have to do it. You don't have to put the energy forth. That's what we talk about, giving back. That's one of those things you can give. It's very simple. Very easy to do. You can give it back. You can give a smile. You can give a what's up. You can give a hey. Whatever. That's huge. You really don't realize how many people you touch every day. The other day, actually a couple weeks ago, somebody came to me, and I've got two quick stories here to share with you on that. That just blew me away. The first one is this guy has watched my church online. He's never really made it to a service. That's fine. He may have conflict of interest or whatever. But he sat me down, and it just blew me away. He looked at me and he said, "I admire you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You had this dream and you did it. I said, well, no, we're not done yet. He goes, no, you're not done yet. He said, you've got a lot more ahead of you, but he said, you are looked upon in our community. You are a leader in our community. Let me tell you something. That made me feel amazing because I never really thought of myself that way. I never did. I felt it needed to be done. And the other story is there's a gentleman who comes to our church occasionally. He's a friend of mine. And he actually at one point pulled me aside and said, you are a pillar of our community. You're a root. Now he told me a root. A pillar I get. Root. You're a root of our community. That made me feel like, what are you trying to say? That I'm old? What are you trying to say? I mean, what do you mean? And it took me a little bit of time to understand it. I'd never heard that term used that way before. But he says, you're what's everything's growing from. You know? That's a huge compliment. That was amazing to me. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't realize. I know I touch lives. I know I do. And I'm meant to. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's my job. But for these people that aren't really members of our congregation, they don't necessarily come to church all the time, and just to tell me something like that off the cuff, it was amazing. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. The things you do in your daily life can affect people you never even realize. And that can be a chain reaction that goes on and on and on. And it's just huge. You're falling asleep on me, aren't you? I see those eyes closing. You're mellow.
Yeah, I'm mellow.
Okay. So you see what I'm saying there, guys? I mean, letting go. A lot of times you don't feel like saying hello to anybody. You just want to put your head down and bump through the crowd and say, get me out of my way. Be Scrooge. You can do that.
We all have those moments.
We do have those moments, and it happens. We're human. But if God's talking to you and you're listening, He's telling you to buck up, get on through it. You may save that person's life that's walking right beside you, walking behind you, or walking around you. Or somebody may see you saying hello, and that may become contagious.
Out of curiosity, what do you guys think? What do you guys think?
About?
Just about...
What I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's always good to have a little bit of feedback.
And that's what I'm going with. I was just fixing to do that, Gavin. I didn't mean to make it a monologue up here. I was just fixing to try and get y'all involved a little bit. So what do y'all think about that?
Cool.
Talk to me. Tell me some of those things you can do to touch other people's lives that could be giving back to the community that you can, so easy to do, but
Be
so
me.
important. Huh?
Be me.
Be you. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't handle compliments too well. I don't like people really talking about me in a good way. Because I just faint. I don't want to come across
That's not the point here.
Hear me out though. Just me
Okay.
particularly. I don't know. I don't know. I just had a lot of people. I'm just not the light of the party, but I can turn a upside down hostile environment and flip it right side up.
So can I.
And
Yes.
I've got.
Oh, absolutely. And I can ruin a party just as much as anybody.
So can I. Hey, usually those who don't like to be recognized or talked about or whatever, it's usually people who don't know how to receive a compliment.
No, that's not it at all. It's just being humble.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
No, and I'm not saying.
Like I know I got it, but at the same time, I'm not going to go out there like what's his name, Steve.
But
did I throw that on the butt?
Going back on,
Thank you, AKA.
Going back on track. Simple.
I usually don't
common
hang out with
courtesy.
people like you.
Stop
That's what he said
it.
on my first time.
Stop it.
Okay.
Simple, common courtesy every day exhibited. It's sometimes all it takes.
Absolutely.
True story.
Just being real and not fake. That goes 1,000 yards.
We talk about being a gentleman down here in the South, right?
Mhm.
You be a gentleman.
With
And
that.
that's what that is. With a little extra on it.
Yeah.
You go a little above and beyond to be a
That's
gentleman.
it.
That's all it takes.
And that's not hard to do these days because
Treating
everyone is
people
really
as people.
shady and slimy.
Treat people as people. That's right.
Treating people as value. And I don't know if you're off track anymore here, but
We're on track. We're fine.
What?
I want to be your neighbor. I watched a documentary last night on Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
It's on Channel 13.
That good, huh?
Yeah. find
So
it.
you're
watch it.
suggesting I want to be
Yeah.
your neighbor.
But,
It's on PBS. I've
it's
heard
on
about
Channel
it.
13 right now. They're in the process of raising money.
Oh yeah. So they got a good one on there.
But it's Mr. Rogers, and even in death, I mean, he is still
Strange little man though. It's very strange. He's a little quirky.
well.
But
that you
yeah.
will understand everything.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
I want to be your neighbor. I want to be your neighbor on PBS. If you haven't checked it out, go check it. Everybody out there in YouTube land or podcast land, go check it out. And everybody here, that's a good one to go watch. I think we ought to check it out. That's all I watch anymore is documentary TV, so that'll probably be a good one for me to watch. So, letting go of that remote control, putting it down for a minute. This is also important in our daily lives. You do it physically. I'm talking about this physically as well. When you can get away from the computer, get away from your phone, get away from, this is the one time that I can sit with all of y'all usually, and you'll not have a phone in your hand, and I can look at all of you in the eyes, and we're not all just talking doing this. Right? Think about it. Anyway, any other time you're here, visiting or whatever, I'm either on the computer, which is almost 99% of the time, or y'all are on your phones, or I'm on my phone, or I'm, something. We're never really 100% like this. This is important. No, it's all right. That's one of the reasons I'm so big about that right now. It's because this is important. This interaction that we have with people, it's important. We've got to let go of those remotes sometimes. We've got to let go of the iPhones and the tablets and the computers. You've got to put that stuff down sometimes and interact.
That's the other thing, part of that documentary was, you notice right away that when you were with him or talking to him, you had every bit of his attention.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah.
And it was an engaged conversation, no matter what it was about.
That's hard to do.
And that is, and Ian, the old hypothetical question that's asked, well, who would you want to have dinner with? That, oh, Jesus Christ, Billy Graham. Well, now people are starting to utter the words of
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
It's amazing.
And to have those are the people that, that have left marks on millions.
Absolutely. And in a good way,
And,
well, you be my neighbor.
And it's just because they were genuine, sincere, courteous.
You're right. That was who he was, period. I mean, that was his nature, was to be like that. You know how hard it is to I mean, think about this guy's pretty famous, right? Some of the people that are asking questions and whatnot, and he get a hold of him and whatever. Sometimes some of the questions are so off the wall and they're just annoying. It's the same question you've heard a million times, and you don't want to, leave me alone. The paparazzi kind of thing, But like you're saying, he wasn't like that. He, no matter what it was, he took the time. If you had the time to ask him questions and want to know things, he took the time to try and answer you. That's really hard. I mean, we all have people that come into our lives, right, and talk to us, and we're kind of half listening. That happens. You're on your phone, or yeah, okay, oh, okay, that's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Sometimes, though, depending on the person, they can actually, even if they're on their phone, sometimes it can be a way to, I guess, help them focus even more, believe it or not.
Sometimes. But I still think
our phones are like crutches.
Yeah, I think that's
they are. It is more of a crutch than anything else.
We don't have to look people in the eye.
You don't have to engage if you're on your phone, and it is rude.
It is. We have the industry, the norm today would have been considered very rude in the past, and I still think it is, and I do it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect here. I do the same thing. I mean, I do the same thing. So maybe that's something we can kind of work on in our lives, is to kind of, let's put the phone down and talk. It's come to the point sometimes, Gavin, I wasn't trying to pick on you. You're usually very good about not having the phone and everything, but I just have to remind you today. But there's some people that come in, and every time they're in our service, they're on their phone. And first of all, I find that as an insult to me. So I bang my microphone there. As an insult to me, but it's also an insult to everybody else here, because you've chosen to sit here and take up space and not really listen to what's going on and not participate, not put anything into it. So why are you here? But I want you to get something out of it. And if you just want to get on your phone, it's not really what we're doing here. We're trying to connect.
It's common practice.
It is, and it's got to stop.
For me, whenever I go into church, any church, no matter what,
Turn it off.
or where there is a public speaker, turn it off, because anything else is going to be a distraction.
And how many of us have had it happen?
It could be for anybody.
How many of us have had it happen? It goes off, the big phone ringing right in the middle of it, and you're like, oh, your face turns red and everything. I've had it happen, especially when I had a really, ringtone I didn't want anybody else to really hear. The whole place heard it. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There's so many controls out there today, right? We talked about that. iPads, iPhones, computers, TVs. You know, on the bus, there's cameras, there's TVs. You go anywhere, there's TVs, there's cameras, there's things to read, there's this and that. There's all these distractions of us. I mean, what really matters is you and you and you. That's what matters. So, what else do you have for me? We've really kind of beat that down. I think we got it in. I think we understand it.
Though. That's it.
Are we good?
No more wisdom.
I think I'm good.
Okay. You realize our 3-year anniversary is coming up, guys, at the end of May.
Wow.
May 31st is our 3-year anniversary of our corporation being founded. That fateful night. Here alone I was and did all that. June's not that far away. So we'll have an anniversary, and then we'll have Pride this year. We'll be on the June 1st and 2nd. So right after our anniversary, the same weekend as our anniversary, we'll have Pride. And then that'll be a fun weekend. An update on that. I cannot come up with $300 to pay for the entry fee to Pride this year.
What's it supposed to do?
They've already done it.
When's the deadline?
The deadline is when they run out of spaces. And I don't know if they have run out of spaces yet, or not yet. I don't believe they have. But the deal is they keep it open until, I believe they have 150 spaces, which is not a lot. And those are gone, they're gone. That's it. They're not doing anymore. They've moved it to Fair Park this year, so it's going to be a lot different. I think it'll be better because of crowd control alone, and parking and whatnot, and the train and whatnot. You're talking about, what was it, 250,000 people on Cedar Springs. It was like, you couldn't even call out on your telephones because the cell phone towers were all full. You couldn't dial 911 on your cell phone. I think that was another big issue, is a safety issue there. You can't dial 911. That's an issue. So, it's for the first time in 30 years, Gay Pride will not be on Cedar Springs. It'll be in Dallas. So, but I'm sorry, I could not come up with the $300 this year. Maybe we're not ready yet. I don't know. Well, maybe we will, but maybe we're not ready. I don't know yet. I mean, there's still hope. I mean, something could pop up. But it's not just the $300 that we're talking about here. I mean, it's the $300 for the entry fee, and then we have to come up with pay for the new banner to walk with. We have to have a vehicle to support us, and some little things on the side of the vehicle. What's up?
Oh, he dropped his phone in.
Okay, look at it. And so and T-shirts. I want to do it. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. I want everybody to have a cute T-shirt on and march and be a good. I really wanted to do this because I think it's huge to get our name out there. I do. I think it's a huge thing to get. That will boost us immensely. But if it doesn't happen this year, it doesn't happen. I'll be disappointed with it. I'll be disappointed. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It wasn't meant to be, and we'll move on. It's just if the money's not there, which it's not, it was going to come out of my pocket. And that's what we're going to have to do. Is it? Huh?
You don't want to rush the bus.
You're right. But like I said, it's another whole year, and I really felt strongly. I mean, you'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Talk about it after service.
I'm getting my income tax here soon, so we're going to 26.
We'll talk about it after service. Because it better happen quick if your income tax is coming. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's coming this time, and I'm going to get it.
All right. We'll talk about it after service then. If so, we'll have an announcement next week about it. Okay? You're willing to go and march with us, aren't you?
Yeah. When is
June the 2nd is the actual parade. It's a 2-day festival. It's all going to be at Fair Park. June 1st will be they called it the festival in the park. I guess they'll call it the same thing. They have the entire Hall of State building where all the automobiles are during the fair. They've got all that, and it's going to be indoor booths and whatnot, and they also have some outdoor booths, beer and wine sales, food sales. Hopefully some Fletcher's corny dogs. Wouldn't that be nice?
Can I wear that leather hat in there?
Sure, you certainly can. Baylor's got the leather hat for Pride if we get to go this year. There's some incentive. I'll come up with some money. You can get that going, right? All right. I already designed the banner. It's 12 feet long, and it just very simply says Dallas Universal Life Church. And it's got our logo, and it says "Forget what you think you know about church." and it says just the website at the bottom. That's it. Very, very plain. Forget what you think you know about church. I love that. I love that title, that tagline we use. Because that's what we're not a normal church. We're not like everybody else. That's the whole point. We don't want to be. We don't want to. If I wanted to be like them, why not just go to their church? No other church that I know of does this. Sits down
I get my
and talks.
I get my shirt. Forget what they call them. It's like, but it was like $3,000 for like a shirt press. Like they make T-shirts with
Those are nice.
and
Yeah,
trays
those
and
are nice.
heater and all that.
Yeah,
And
silk screen kind of thing.
Yep.
Those are nice. Those are nice. For shirts, we could do the
You
iron
could do
on.
whatever you
Yeah,
want.
you can do the iron on.
Throw whatever you wanted on the tray, the sliding tray, and then put the emulsion into it.
Yeah, it would go on there.
And then whatever color
That's
you
cool.
wanted to do.
Okay, so
T-shirts.
enough about pride, enough about that. We kind of got it in our minds now. It's up in the air, okay? And the other thing about the stuff in June, we got an anniversary coming up, and then we got me leaving for Lebanon. So it's a big month, big month, huh?
D-Day anniversary.
Yeah, absolutely.
etc.
And Juneteenth, all those things, Okay, the stories are getting more interesting. Jesus is really he's revving that ministry up. You know, the wheels are turning, right? What's going to happen next week, right? I love this. To be continued next week. Yeah, I feel like the soap opera person talking. Let's close this out in prayer, guys. Does anybody want to say a prayer just this evening? Now that it's in the evening time, we've kind of gone a little long. Or shall I do it again today? Anybody? Father in heaven, thank you again for this opportunity to come together and engage with each other face to face without distraction, with as little distraction as is possible. Lord, we ask you that this week you help us to continue that in our daily lives and to put down our controls and give more control to you and learn to, as they say, let go and let God. Lord, we ask, I know, Lord, we ask that you watch over us this week and all that we do. We ask that you watch over our families, and Lord, we ask you for you to continue to help our church grow and just help us to be there for those who need to hear us. We ask all of this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I will see you all next week. It was a good one today, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, because we needed that this week. We needed that this week. All right. Let's get this room back together.
I've got to charge my phone.
Let's get all the cameras turned off first, all the lights down, so we can save a little bit of electricity and not have to plug that phone crazy here. All right. All right. Thank you, guys. All of your help. I'm sorry. I am sorry about the dang computer, but we're